Now, in most West African countries, I'll talk more about West Africa and probably Central Africa. Nigerians were the key players in both the import, distribution, wholesale, and retail. We dominate it. We're the ones taking charge. Then we take the Indians, the Lebanese, and the Chinese. But when it comes to this area, we're dominated. We are not leaving anything for the indigenes. And that is why you see those attacks coming in. We're doing everything. They're taking over our business. We don't have anything for our boys, our people, our young men. Our young men and young women, they are jobless. Why? Because we've taken over everything. But with the trade house concept, a small Togolese trader can come into the trade house and make a demand for 10 cartons. What have you done? You've improved the life of that small trader. Over time, it grows, he employs more people, and then you develop that country, Togo, as a whole.
Wow, and I think that's the big brother concept as well. So I really love that you're thinking that way. Yeah, because Nigeria can, like you said, with our weights, we can be crushing on the smaller nations. So what you're designing really also brings well-wishing, because a lot of the things that Nigeria would develop, other people will look to learn from Nigeria. And if we can have the big brother aspects baked in, making their own life easy too, it's a win-win. I always love it. You know, I want to, so what you're saying is music to my hair. I want to a little bit just shift. Okay, go on, please.
No, it's the way to go. I'll give you a typical example. Casapreco. Casapreco in about 10 years ago they make these alumobitters. They make alumobitters. It's a very small company, extremely very small in Ghana. But they took the courage and the braveness to come into the Nigerian market.
Wow.
Casapreco today is the largest stock, has the largest stock, number one stock in Ghana. Why? Because they came into Nigeria. I practically had a meeting with their MD, and they advertised my hostel. Today they are massive. Why? Because they could take the courage to come into Nigeria. Many West African countries, they want to come. They are just scared. There is no bridge. There is no institution. There is no platform.
You know, I was on an interview show with some government people in Kenya. I was the only Nigerian. Every other person was Kenya. Oh my goodness. That conversation, it was like they were afraid of, you know, like Nigeria. They were like, Nigeria, you. Then I say, hey, I'm Nigeria. I'm on this call. I'm Nigeria. Remember, you are talking about us. Then I told them, I actually said something, and maybe you can, I hope I'm right. I told them, I said it's easier for a Nigerian to penetrate, come into Kenya and win in Kenya than for a Kenyan business person to come into Nigeria and win in Lagos. I told them, my advice to them was they are better served to establishing a local agent that knows Nigeria, that can help them win in Nigeria, that for them to come. That was what my advice to them was, in terms of doing business and the dynamics of somewhere like Lagos. You know, I don't know. That was my recommendation to say, under the AfCFTA, seek partnerships.
Which is just the function of a trade house. A trade house with a two-way trade flow. Export and import. They want to register with NAFDAC, they support them. They want to get a soft cap, they support them. They want to get ministry, they give them all the necessary support. So they have a soft landing. They have a presence. Somebody who is there, they can rely on, who also have an interest in their own country. So it's a balanced thing. It's a balanced thing. And that's the only way. That's the only way the government will be intentional in making AfCFTA succeed. One thing is to have the AfCFTA in the books, in everything. Another thing is the compliance with the protocols and the treaties. That's another different ballgame. If they see that there is no direct benefit for them, they will start creating more blocks. And no countries that increase their VAT because of the fact that they are only bringing in goods from Nigeria and their own is not going outside Nigeria. So their VAT went up from 12.5 to 50, from 50 to 18.5, down 20. Because we're not paying duty, but nothing stops us from paying back.
Yeah, I know when we did the AfCFTA roundtable, African Union and actually shared that Afro-Exim Bank under the AfCFTA, they've raised they have $1 billion set aside to offset some of the challenges that will happen, because they know some people will lose
competition.
Competition. So that's something they said they were 500, half of it for government, half of it if private sector see that maybe they lose market share or some of the things that happen. So that's something they're I mean, at the continental level, they're also exploring. But I want to, we've talked about opportunities, challenges, investment. I want to shift a little bit. The diaspora, I'll be honest. The diaspora, and we're going to share a video from NIDCOM, but the Nigerian diaspora is a powerful block of people, capacity, knowledge, resources, revenue, investment. But what I am seeing as a diaspora myself, this is honest, I'm being very direct here so that we know how to go around it. Being in the US is extremely comfortable in the sense that people don't even think about back home, right? People don't. Yeah, we're in the midst of, I'm being like trying to explain the scenario because I take messages to them, and that's why I requested for the message from NIDCOM, targeted specifically at the Nigerian diaspora, because when I say trade with Africa, trade with Nigeria, they're like, why now? I'm fine here. Like, that is work. We don't need that headache. So for me, I'm constantly sensitizing them. Yes. I'm constantly, now they know me, right? They know me as Toyin. Okay, give us information. But I mean, maybe this is also something myself and Honorable Ella will work out, is how do we mobilize? Because I also tell the Nigerian diaspora, I say, you don't even have to leave. I'm not saying leave America, but at least your money, let us put it to work back home. The Indians have done it. The diaspora, they connect the door. They create new markets for the people back home. The Chinese diaspora have done it. The role of the diaspora is to serve as bridges. Part of the challenge it's not just about remittances. You don't know where. I tell people, just buy from Nigeria. If any of your family member is back home and they are saying this, just tell them to go and make something that you can sell in America. Like this, Asha, okay. When I bought it, the person couldn't meet my capacity. He had to invest and invite 3 other weavers. Until today, he's asking me, Madam, bring me more business. So I tell the diaspora, buy. If you buy more, you are creating capacity for those local weavers, whatever it is you are buying. You are creating.
So you should know that Nigerians, either in Nigeria or abroad, we're very specialists. We like the good things of life. And then we tend to have this very erroneous mistake to forget that we're still Nigeria, whether we like it or not. Yoruba people say, that's why when they're in their 50s, when they get to their 50s and 60s, they now be feeling so bad with themselves that they can't stay here anymore. They want to come back home and rest. But this place, where do you want to rest for? Where you didn't put anything other than the building where you can put your head in and stay. The truth of the matter is that the consciousness of there should be a new thinking, a new light on among Nigerians in diaspora. They should come together as a formidable team. We like playing alone. We like playing individual. We like playing just me. I want to be the only rich man. I want to be the only man they will see. I want to be the only man to be heard. If they come together and make a conscientious effort to say, okay, we're looking at the agri sector and we want to come in and invest, bringing in the mechanized plantations. Here we have farms. We don't have plantations. There are very few. The plantations we have in Nigeria, without gainsaying, belongs to mostly foreigners. I've been to some that they have an aeroplane working there. I've been to some that planes can land in Nigeria, not owned by us. Those are the things. If they can come in here and they know that they are doing well and they've been doing well, why can't they come together as a pool and say, okay, we're going to come Nigerian Diaspora Nigeria Limited and come in and say, we're looking at having the first shea butter processing factory that process shea butter to international standard to meet the L'Oreal of this world, to meet the body shops of this world. Yeah. That's only their mission because they are there. L'Oreal is there with them, body shop is there with them, everything is there with them. Then they come in here and put the structure. There is a lot of problems, there is no doubt. Policy will come in and policy will go out. I was shocked again when I saw the policy on automobile. that we have reduced the duty on automobile cars. Now, all those investments that have gone under the Nigerian Automobile Commission Revolution, all those investments are gone. No, those guys are going to start chopping up one way or the other.
Wow.
Why? Because the policy has changed just like that. So those problems are sure going to be there. But what does it mean?
Wow.
Consistency will keep you going.
On that note, one of the things, how do these policies go in? Because here you actually have private sector lobbying government. Like those things cannot just pass through like that without private sector lobbying. And when you look at the framework I designed, like monitoring policy has to be a strategy for the private sector. Because, for example, most big companies, they all have an office in Washington, D.C. They have a lobby that is every new law, they are fine-tuning, like which one is impacting my sector, which one is going to impact us. And if they see anything that is going to impact their sector, they will raise an alarm. They will raise an alarm and they will start mobilizing. Right? They will start, they won't let it go in.
The silo entrepreneurial system in Nigeria. Only me.
Okay.
So when it's only you, there's a little, very little.
You can marshal that impact.
The big ones, we do the lobby, and they'll just do it with it. We can give an example. Maize was banned. Importation of maize was banned. Waiver was given to some selling people because they're big. But if I have 500 or 1,600 or 3,000 farmers that does maize, hey, that's a constraint on its own that can use lobby.
So within the private sector, this is what I'm seeing. The future for Nigeria, for Africa, is going to be led by the private sector. Like if you remember the map, that wealth creation, that closing that wealth gap, and go the government was, yes, it's the private sector that will grow Africa. The government can keep doing their diamond in Botswana, the raw commodity, the oil. Yes, you drill it until it empties out, right? But the engine of growth.
They don't impact on the unemployment.
Yes, so that's why I did that map.
Have 10 staff and it's making billions of dollars.
Yes, so the private sector, usually this private sector leads in innovation, and then the public sector comes behind with policies to support. But I'm seeing that even with AfCFTA, it feels to me like the policy across the continent is moving faster, and then the private sector is playing catch up to even understand what was inside, what is inside AfCFTA. Meanwhile, AfCFTA should have been designed by the private sector with the policy leaders just signing it. Like that's why our policies, like literally in DC, the private sector is the one writing, they're the one writing policy. They write it and they say, sir, we need your signature. Oh, consistency, you understand this? They say, yeah, okay, I approve this message. So it's actually still under
initially when they started the talk of the FCTA, the Manufacturer Association was against it. They said, no, they are not ready. Why? Because they weren't carried along in the entire process. Before they now started having a consultative forum. After the whole thing has been put in place. So we need a complete reorientation in our trade policies, both from the government side and from the public sector side.
Wow.
There's a window, can be done. Chinese started like we started, the Japanese started like we started. We can do it.
Oh yes, and for me, that sense of belief and of I know my people. If we can all, between us, in fact, before we started and opened up the line, there were a group of our speakers. I said, between us, these speakers, we can do some incredible things.
Let me give you what I did just 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
A lady came in from United Kingdom. She said she wanted to buy snails. She had done all the registration, DEFRA registration in the UK. She has gotten the permits and everything. She felt all she needed to do to come to Nigeria is just to come and buy these snails and go. She now got to Nigeria to find out that she needs a certification for the farm, for her to be able to export to EU, to UK or other EU countries. And then the next thing, she got in touch with me. And I asked her, how is the market like? She showed me the orders. I was shaking. That they need as much as this. She said yes, that she needs me to get the certification for her. I called the relevant agency and they gave me the procedure for the certification. I sent it to her. Then I went on my platform. I said, I want all snail farmers in Nigeria, in my group. I want all of you gather in my office so day.
Wow.
The lady called me for an appointment. When I told her, I said, come. When she came, she saw 16 people waiting. She was shocked.
Ready to sell hard snails?
No, not ready to sell because there's no farm yet. What did I do? And I told her, I'll work with you. I'll support you as long as you can carry these 16 snail farmers into your farm that I will get the certification for. If you don't allow them to come in,
I'm not helping you.
I won't get certification for you. Today, as of today, they are exploiting a special purpose vehicle that will incorporate all of them. Then we will start the process of getting that. Now, 16 farmers are to be made exporters by the beginning of next year. That's the way to go.
Wow.
So if you can build those bridges, close up break down the walls between us, the MSMEs, the large industries, the multinationals. Let's close the walls, and then you see the trade will flow among us, and then we'll be able to impact our nation.
Yeah. So I'm looking. You and I can. This conversation is fantastic, but I'm looking at time now. One thing I want to quickly do is open for questions. We have a few more minutes to go. I want to open right now. I'm going to make a quick change to the agenda. I want to open for those who have questions or who some of our speakers that want to join in. I also see Honorable Chief, Anthony. Earlier we did introductions. I see you. So I want to bring them into this conversation. And then as we're wrapping up, what I will wrap up with will be the video message from Honorable Abike Dabiri, the CEO, the chairman and CEO of NIDCOM, Nigerians in Diaspora, Commission, an agency of Nigeria. But this conversation, I want to bring more people in because you've shed light on what's going on locally, organizing the private sector behind the AfCFTA, and you've talked or showed us the practical side of this work. And for me, the message is, how can the government, I mean, you have them, but how do we fast track it? So I'm going to open up to our speakers, anyone that wants to join in with questions or comments or insights. And then for those joining as well, if you have questions, I already see a comment. Thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. African International. Okay, people are dropping comments. Also on the platform, there was a question around how does Nigerians attract investment? What are investors looking for? Hopefully we've shared some of that during our call. But I want to open Honorable Ella. Any comments as we are looking at the time now for today's session?
Thank you so much, my dear sister Toyin, for this wonderful arrangement that you have put in place. I'm indeed very glad that we are getting the diaspora to be highly interested in what is going on in Nigeria. And like the conversation has shown clearly, we are a powerhouse, but we have not really explored all the opportunities that we have. And that is where this conversation is very important. The diaspora, I know they are also doing their lot to also contribute to the Nigerian economy and its trade policy. There's the Nigerian Federal Credit Union that is being mooted by some group here to also create a hedge fund for such investment purposes. We also have organizations like the Nigerian African Business Forum that is also inviting their members to invest in Nigeria. So let's keep the conversation on, and we'll see how we can always give you the necessary support and enabling information to carry on. Fortunately for us, we also have key government functionaries from the NIPC, Nigerian Investment Promotion Council, and the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. In this conversation, I will yield the grant to them. They will give us government perspectives and programs that we can follow up. And thank you once more, my dear brother Barrister Awave, for such elucidating information you have provided. Let's keep the conversation on. Let's engage ourselves. And we hope that with constant reminder, we will certainly do the right thing at the right time. Thank you so much for giving the floor to me.
Oh, thank you, sir. And the Honorable Chief, Anthony, please jump in. Well, I'm looking forward to your tomorrow, you know, your what you'll be sharing with us. Do you just please let me spotlight you, come into the conversation. What's your reaction?
Thank you, Toyin. It's been I have notes. I have lots of notes here. It's been very interesting. I'm honored, Barrister, where I'm one of those that have followed the progress of the things your team and yourself have been doing. I'm a student, or should I say I'm a graduate of, I graduated from the Aberdeen Business School. I studied international trade. I remember when I went to Robert Gordon University, we were 10 Nigerians, and we were about 1,600 in class, and out of that 1,600, we had 1,480 students from China studying international trade, all sponsored by their governments.
Wow.
You know, and they all came prepared. You know, they came to study international trade in that, because you had the MSc arm and you had the LLB arm of international trade. It was interesting, you know, to see all of them. They came as a family, like I said, sponsored by their government. And already they knew where they were going to end up in China, back in their country. You know, they knew they were going to end up in either trade and export, automobile. They just knew where they were going to. So they had come to do their masters and go back. While some of us Nigerians, we have come to do our masters and we're hoping that we're going to leverage on the Scottish policy that said you could remain in Scotland 1 year after study. You know, we're not going to go back home. You know, others came. You know, so the truth is, I've learned a lot, and the potential for exports, especially in this country, is huge. Toyin and I were in a webinar session a few weeks ago on we spotlighted the leather industry in Nigeria with a concentration to Kano State, where I work as the SSA to the governor of Kano State. And the potential is huge, huge. You know, a few months ago, His Excellency Governor Abdullahi Ganduje sent a team of persons to Lagos to understand how the industry, the manufacturing industry in Lagos was working. You know, because Kano those days used to have the potential of export for cotton, for textile. You know, Kano used to have that potential for leather, for the industry, because of power. So when the team came to Lagos, all they found in Lagos was gas pipeline. That's how they are managing their power, gas pipeline.
Wow.
You know, so we went to see the president of MAN. I was like, okay, why can't Kano have the same thing? And he said, there's always been the AKK project. I don't know if you've heard of the AKK project, the AKK gas pipeline project. You know, it has always been there. The Abuja, Kaduna, Kano gas pipeline project. It has always been there, but way back the time of Obasanjo and the governments before, they had what they call the briefcase. How did he say it? He said there was a briefcase vendor. They actually had no face. They had signed the contract. They were going to build the gas pipeline and so many issues. You know, when you had private investors, private partners, like in the private sector, like Dangote and Boa saying, see, give us the gas pipeline, we will build it. And you say, no, we want the Chinese. We want these people to build it. You know, so what am I saying? I'm saying that industries that have always been part of our history on exports have died down tremendously, you know. For a state which I represents here in Lagos, we're trying to build that back. That was why the news on the rail line to Niger was essential. Now, someone asked me, why did rail line to Niger? And I told them that in Kano, you find more people buying things from Saudi Arabia, Tunisia, Egypt, and all of that, which made it cheap. Now, back in Kano, when I'm coming home from Kano to Lagos, I go to the supermarket and I buy biscuits, for instance, for my kids. And the same type of biscuit I buy from a supermarket in Kano is 1,000 or 1,500 naira cheaper than the one I will buy from a shop right here. And I tried to find out, I said, okay, they actually have a means of getting these things cheap from the Arab countries like Dubai, because they have airlines flying directly to Egypt from Kano, directly to Dubai from Kano, you know, directly to Saudi from Kano. Unlike when we buy from London, the US, and all of that, you know. So with the rail line, Kano is trying to, or I don't know whether I should use the Nigeria, but Kano is trying to renew those import-export ties.
Yeah.
With those countries close to its borders,
right?
You know, to make that relationship easy again, you know.
Wow.
So that was the explanation I could give to them, because, you know, when we had the story, you know, rail line going to Nigeria, blah, they had forgotten that trade, trans-Saharan trade, transatlantic trade was very effective historically in Kano.
Exactly. Yeah, wow. You know, I'm just enjoying everything. Yeah. So I think tomorrow, based on you're going to go first, because that conversation, tomorrow you're going to launch us forward to the work, because part of, you know, the highlight is Kano Lagos is an example of interstate engagement. We've seen it with KB Lagos with the rice.
Yes.
You know, so you're going to share with us this, you know, I'm excited, like tomorrow morning, everybody listen, you need to be here early to digest this, because even in the US, like few weeks ago, I was presenting to Nebraska and Indiana World Affairs Councils, 2 states. We also see those dynamics, competition, partnerships at the state level. Maybe more of it needs to happen, because even within AfCFTA, yes, it's within different countries, but also we need to start talking about within states, trade zones, trade opportunities within states.
Toyin, yes, let me prepare your mind for tomorrow. You see,
okay, let me.
One of the reasons we were not particular about the lake partnership, like Lagos Kebbi for agriculture. We were particular about what was happening at the ease of doing business in Nigeria reports that the World Bank published every year. Kano, we noticed that Kano and Lagos had a huge impact on the figures that we're getting from that report. Kano and Lagos. had a huge impact that we were getting from that report. If you dissect it state by state, you would notice that if Lagos dropped in its numbers, Kano dropped too.
Oh.
If Kano rose, Lagos rose. So both governors of both states, that was one reason, that was the essence of the partnership, to ensure that we continue to grow. And we've seen that we had grown to 15th place. I mean, after we celebrate 146, oh, now we're celebrating 131 in 2020. You know, it's amazing creating state partnerships. It's happening in America. Everybody sees it in America. You know, that's the same idea. So tomorrow we'll discuss that.
Wow. I'm telling you, I'm excited. Because, like you said, thank you for sharing that you had pulled me and included me in another webinar that was it's probably one of the best. I have to commend you, Honorable Anthony. I have to commend you. That webinar was the best I've been in. The engagement, you had all the stakeholders identified. Like when I started today's conference, stakeholder assessment is always important. And in that meeting, we had the stakeholders, you had the interested party. So I have to commend you. Thank you for bringing me into that conversation. So tomorrow I'm looking forward to having you share more with our audience as well. I have a few questions being dropped here, but I want to also give does any of our other speakers, do you want to comment or do you want to save it to tomorrow? I'm looking at time, we're down to the minutes. Okay, Mr. Emeka from the Nigerian Investment Promotion, please. I'm spotlighting you. Go on, please. You're representing the investment promotion. Is it Council of Nigeria?
Commission.
Commission. Apologies.
Commission.
Yes.
Thank you. A lot of people make that mistake.
Yes.
They call us council, but we always try to reiterate that we are a commission. On a lighter side, a commission is more powerful than a council.
Well, we have NEPC here.
NEPC is our brother. I just want to
it's hiding to say that. You didn't mean to say that.
No. Okay, but you are our brother. We are brother.
No, what I'm saying, you didn't mean to say that we are what you are on a lighter note, though.
Okay. Thank you. So I just want to commend Toyin for this engagement, and Honorable Ella as well, and all of us in the panel. It has been quite an engaging moment. I would like to say that Nigeria, despite all the challenges, that we are still an attractive place to. I also like to comment on what Toyin said about the need for government to prioritize some countries and some sectors. Incidentally, that is what we are already doing in NIPC. We have what we call country-focused investment promotion strategy. So that strategy aims to enable NIPC develop a deeper relationship with companies that we consider strategic for investment promotion purposes. Now, we are not saying that we are going to focus, we are going to deal with only those countries. We just want to build a deeper relationship with them based on some factors that came up in our deep dive analysis. In terms of, I think somebody asked a question about how Nigeria attracts investors. So I will just summarize briefly by trying to respond that Nigeria NIPC is presently promoting what we call the RIPS philosophy. It does not contrast with what Toyin said about investors focusing on only return on investment profits, and not that we should not see them as a development agency. I agree with you 800%. But we have what we call a RIPS philosophy, RIPS. That philosophy simply says that, well, we will accept all investments But if we are going to spend government resources to attract investments into Nigeria, we should focus on investments that are responsible, investments that are inclusive, investments that are balanced, and then investments that are sustainable. We believe that a combination of those four attributes will help us get investments that will create jobs and wealth for Nigerians, and then help us also, those investors, to provide the capacity to expand and then export outside Nigeria so that Nigeria can take its rightful place in the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. So that is what we look at. I am also excited about what, I don't know, Toyin, whether you are the one that said it or Ola Awe, about the need to, the sweep. You mentioned the sweep. So we have what we call single window investment portal that tries to provide information to investors across the globe on an online basis, real-time basis, so that they can access all information they require to be able to invest in Nigeria. So for us, it's important that we promote a good image for Nigeria. Investors, from our assessment, invest in a country when they feel good about that country. And if you want to relocate to another country, you first of all feel good about that country. If you want to invest in a country, investors want to feel good about that country. That's the only way you can enter into their long list. And you begin to give them support. I just want to say before I round up, I know the event continues tomorrow, but just in a short while, I will be through with my highlight. That we try to project a good image for Nigeria and face the opportunity. And then, most importantly, there are challenges with doing business in Nigeria. But the government is doing a lot to ensure that these challenges are mitigated. And that is why we have NIPC. We can handhold investors to walk through those challenges. Very, very important. And that is why we say, if you are thinking of doing business in Nigeria, of investing in Nigeria, you should talk to NIPC. The NIPC is unique in government. I know NEPC is also unique. But NIPC
so I see there's competition. I didn't know what I stumbled into.
We are going to handhold you to ensure that invest in Nigeria. I'm also
sure.
happy.
Yeah, I said I'm sure Sir Arnold would respond eventually.
I am also happy about what you said about bilateral agreements. You know, when you are trying to invest in another country, you are trying to invest in a new country, it's important that you know the relationship between. The NIPC has developed a balanced investment that even UNCTAD and the rest of the world are beginning to adopt and support investing in Nigeria. So I want to thank you for that. I think we'll continue tomorrow.
Yes, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And there's one question that I just wanted to call out for Barrister Kola where before you finally go. It's from Lekon. The person said his first name, and I think it's Lekon Salam because there's someone on that platform. So he's a diaspora. He said, thank you. The question is for Barrister Kola. He says, I do have an off-taker for plantain flour, similar to snail. Can I have cooperative plantain farmers? We are ready to domicile, I think, the processing plants in Nigeria. So, Barrister Kola, it seems you now have customers. What you described, you did for the snail farmer. They're like, please, can we do the same? Because that's a winning recipe, but I'll let you respond.
Okay, basically, we at Nasima Export Group, that's one of our high points, to be able to support either local business people or diaspora and to be able to have access to their raw materials. Leko, I'll be willing to support you. There's no doubt about that. And I want you to know that we're not doing it only in snail. Toyin, we agree with me that we started one on textile too.
Yes, recently. We would. Yes, and these are the reasons.
We notice also that.
Go on, please. Go on.
Yeah, we're doing something on textile on a private basis. That's the way I believe. We're not involving government. There's no government involvement in all these things. At the stage the government will come, we'll be at the success stage, and then they know that we know what we're doing and we've been able to achieve the progress that we need to achieve. So we'll be able to support you. We have a lot of members who are farmers and who can also support you in providing the raw materials that you need. That won't be much of a problem at all. And then we can guarantee you the fact that you have the courage and the boldness you want to come to Nigeria, we can guarantee you a level of safety in terms of your investment.
Fantastic. That will be outcomes of this engagement. I want to see results. So a couple of thank yous to Barrister Kola as well. Okoli said, thank you, Barrister Kola, aware for the insights shared on snail. SMEs are ready to work with you, sir. Judith Odegwa Aidel, I apologize. It said, thank you, Barrister Aware, for your wonderful deliberation. I suggest we have a private sector stakeholders dialogue forum so that members can contribute to the success of AfCFTA. So I want to thank you, Barrister Kola. You're still going to, if you're able to join us tomorrow, we still want your insight. But do you have any parting words? I apologize, we're running over, but I'm going to end. When we round up, I want to end with the message from Honorable Abike Dabiri to the diaspora, which it's a message we already put out there and we want to get it out there. Because for me, when I engage in the diaspora, I'm like, we need to plug in, we need to offer more support to what's going on back home, because this type of conversation that I get pulled into is not visible to majority of Nigerians in diaspora. They are still unfortunately subscribed to the negative narrative, which I understand, but home is home. Home is home. So that's one of the things I'm happy to do. So Barrister Awel, you the floor to you. Or if we don't have anybody, I want to use the floor, your parting words for your wonderful presentation today. And then we'll play the video and then we'll be back tomorrow because of time.
All right, Toyin, thanks. Firstly, let me just thank you for this opportunity. And then secondly, I appeal to all the government agencies here, including the High Commission in UK, that the interest of Nigerian private sector is key. And particularly the interest of the MSME is vital. That in anything they do, they should realize that the MSME are the engine room of the Nigerian economy. And in formulating their policies and programs and trade fairs and exhibition, this set of people should be taken into consideration. And then also in respect, I want to make an addition to AfCFTA. My one small challenge, we need to break down every other economic group blocks. When we commence this, all ECOWAS should go, SADC should go, EAC should go, COMESA should go. Otherwise, we have a situation whereby some economic blocks are prospering within themselves and other economic blocks are not taking advantage of it. Thank you.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much again. And another comment came in for you. It says, from Judy, says, Barrister Aware, my organization, which is Africa International Trade Women Network, is open to collaborating with you to investment and partnerships to grow the African region in Nigeria. So that's also extended. So for me, I will be looking for outcomes. So if anything becomes of this, engagement, please, we would love to put that in our reports. We again.
I suggest they bring the engagement. Let them channel the engagement through you.
Through me, yes. So we'll try and mobilize engagement.
So that you can see.
And please, with the NEPC on the platform, I thought that we would just give them a few minutes to.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, because that is essentially.
Sir Arnold, I call you Sir Sir Arnold. We want to hear from you. I know tomorrow is dedicated to you, but please, you're NEPC, not NI. Let me not start any.
on a lighter note. Emeka, when we talk about this, we're not competitors, we are collaborators. And I believe every government agencies and trade groups and those progressive people that wants to do export or want to promote non-oil in this, we should see ourselves as collaborators. We collaborate to make things work. I want to thank Kola. Kola has been my friend for God knows for ages. And he has also been a mentor, a big man. When I have problems, I run to him. He knows I'll call him up anytime. I just want to chip in one thing, which is very key. You know, when you're talking about Nigeria beyond oil, it's very key. If you look at this budget, this year's 2021 budget, 2021, yeah, they said there was about 14 billion shortfall. So they need to finance that budget. In 2015, World Bank reported Nigerian economy, the revenue is about 70%, and GDP and whatever is about 90% driven by oil. In 2016, we had a recession, and the same thing happened. Then the trade balance dropped from 70 something to 40. And my chief executive called us and said, look, we need to find the remaining 30 billion that is that's a shortfall between that period. So that was what led to what we call the zero oil plan. Let's even behave as if we don't have oil. When there was no oil, prior to the advent of oil, how did Nigeria behave? How did we survive? So that led us to what we call the Zero Oil Plan Initiative, which is like a flagship, the hallmark of the NEPC export promotion activities. And under that one zero oil, we also looked at what we call to drive the zero oil plan, we need every state of the federation is blessed with one product or the other. And we now look at what we call one state, one product initiative to drive the zero oil plan. And in 2017 also, where the zero oil plan was adopted by the federal government and included in the what we call the economic growth and recovery plan as part of the pillars to diversify the non-oil export. So that has been the things that the council has been working on. And in 2018, there was what we call economic growth, economic council, the government, the federal government had what we call the economic growth committee, national export committee, which is which comprises of all the 36 state governments or governors, and that's how they want to drive the one state, one product. And you know, when we talk about growing the regional and global trade under the AfCFTA, because of lack of time, maybe we dwell a little bit more on that. The AfCFTA is something that it is good. You know, in the preliminary meeting we had earlier, and we said, well, it is a good thing. We thought it as the most, is the largest economic bloc. But RCEP is coming, and other people are also made, but we need to be a little bit more deliberate. I think Toyin said something about being deliberate in whatever export or in whatever trade plans that we have. And that's what we need to do. Because of lack of time, I want to also highlight on some product that we can also look, which is more important, to look beyond the oil moving forward, and that's the services sector. Services sector is one sector that, whether we like it or not, if we don't, we'll be playing catch up, which we have always done in the past. Services sector talks about total disruption in where things are done. And that is, we have comparative advantage, and we should key into that. And that should also drive the AfCFTA, you know, for us, especially in some sectors like the ICT. We did a mapping, sometimes you go with the Commonwealth Secretariat, and say that we have about 3 or 4 priority sectors we should focus on in export of services. One of such was the financial services, the entertainment, which is very huge. We are the second largest producers of movies today in the world. We may not have as much money, but that is what is, recorded. Nigeria makes over 1,000 movies yearly, more than the Hollywood. So we have comparative advantage in that aspect, and we should leverage. When we're talking about, there's hardly any African countries that you don't see the Nigerian movies and the Nigerian music and the rest of those things. Even the comedians are also part of the entertainment. So these are areas that we can leverage. And of course, the financial services. Most of the Nigerian banks are in other African countries, which by WTO trade standard, they have also exported services. So we have these potentials. We must leverage on what we have. We leverage on the number of people we have, 200 million people, which might be more. We also leverage on the expertise we have in the area of ICT. We also, and entertainment. In Africa, we top, even in the world, we're like number 2. So these areas are where we can make more impact and also accrue, and it employs over thousands of people in the sector, especially in the production of one movie. You might have up to 1,000 people being, in that movie scene. Both the tailors, the hairdressers, all sort of things join together. So we have good this and that. It's important we also look into that aspect and we leverage on those aspects. Then finally, again, we are blessed with all sort of things, but please, what we in Export Promotion Council we are driving at is the value addition in the Nigerian product. And for us to be able to do that, we cannot, Kola made a very insightful decision earlier on when we talk about cashew, the cost of raw nut and this thing. This is something that is very worrisome for us. So we need to add value. And of course, we go for certification to be able to make the standards, the quality parameters is also key. Then of course, the packaging. So I'll just leave that, maybe tomorrow we'll talk a little bit more. I just need to talk about the zero oil plan that we can look at. In fact, we have what it takes to even forget that we have oil. Before now, wow. we did not use oil. Before the advent of oil, where was Nigeria? How were we surviving? And we have what it takes more. There's a lot of development, both knowledge-wise and technological advancement. So we can leverage on this non-oil side and make more impact. The climate change is having another setback on the oil sector. So we have what it takes. We can develop, we can grow, and when we have to be patient. Toyin talk about being patient in doing some of these things. It's not export business. You need to go through a process so that when you are processed, your product cannot be protected. No, it's very important. That's what we need to. Thank you.
Yeah, no, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And you talked about a whole lot. One that just to say something about the movie industry. Kenya, actually, I was talking to the person in charge of the everything that I showed on the media in government in Kenya, and they were saying they were looking to connect with Hollywood, Tyler Perry, all of that. And I told them about Chicago. Well, they were like, oh, we didn't know about Chicago. So I went to Chicago. I'm actually, Nazaru, my company is working with the city of Chicago. Next March, we'll be hosting Chicago Africa engagement because they're also trying to look at city. How can the third largest city in America, what are the trade sector specific opportunities? And one of the things the city of Chicago told me, because this is the city that made Oprah, that made President Obama, they said that being the third largest city, their media, they're looking for opportunities. People could come and shoot movies here or then shoot like dual production, and that their costs, the Chicago cost is actually lower than if you were to shoot in partnership with Hollywood. So those are some of the things we are actually doing here. But again, tomorrow as we wrap up, maybe I'll share a little bit of that. So potentially we could open a channel between Nigeria movie industry and Chicago, where we could shoot some movies here in Chicago. There are some grants and sponsorship and things that the city, depending on how we pitch it to the city of Chicago in terms of promoting Chicago in Nigerian movies to millions of Nigerians around the world, they would love that. So those are some of the practical things for me that I want to see as outcomes. So movie industry, let's do something in terms of trade and investment in that. That would be fantastic. The scenery and the shooting, we could shoot something. So
I've been working around with those people for a while, so I understand this, and that is a very good engagement, and we must do that. And I think I can, begin to sensitize the people involved, the big players, and we're talking about co-production.
Co-production.
Yes, that's what it is, and it's important. I remember 2 years ago, the vice president, when we went to Hollywood for this thing, I was at that meeting, and they also talk about co-production. Having some Nigerian go to Hollywood to act, and some of them, just like that, to improve on their distance. So these are areas of collaboration. These are areas in which we have what it takes. The president of Kenya some years ago was asking them, and when we had a program, he said, can Nigerian Nollywood, can they come and help us? He said that straight away, and I look at the president as at that time the president of Actors Guild that was there. I said, this is an opportunity to leverage. Now, if you do that, it will be a lot easier. You're already getting an invitation, an open invitation by the president, so you can leverage. But see, these are things that we need to engage further.
Wow. Thank you so much. I have to thank everybody. I know we went over right there. Like I said, the reason we kept this really controlled is because everybody, Zoom fatigue is real. A lot of, like my events in August, we actually ran 8, full out, like 4 hours each day, but I wanted to make sure I respect everybody's time, because everybody, at this time of the year, everybody's like 2020, enough of Zoom. But I know this is a very dynamic conversation, so we're going to pick it up tomorrow, early 9 o'clock for me, 4 p.m. in Nigeria. So I'm going to now play a message from Honorable Abike Dabiri. The reason I asked for a video is the video will live on. It's already living on. People are already checking it out. But I wanted to just deliver a message to the Nigerian diaspora. And I want, my goal is to have as many Nigerians in diaspora to listen to it. So I'm going to play that video right now as we're wrapping up. And I look forward to our engagement tomorrow. Rise and early for me, 4 p.m. in afternoon. I want to thank everybody today. Thank you, Honorable Ella, everybody, for just staying the extra minutes that we stayed. But I'm going to play a message from Honorable Abike Dabiri right now.
My name is Abike Dabiri, Chairman, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission. The Nigerians in Diaspora Commission is a new agency of the Nigerian government aimed at specifically working with the Nigerian diaspora, engaging the Nigerian diaspora in the programs and policies of the Nigerian government. So it's my pleasure and privilege to be with you at this very, very important summit, the Nigerian Investment Conference. And I want to congratulate and commend the organizer, Toyin Umesiri, who has always displayed passion and interest in issues affecting the diaspora and investment in Nigeria. Congratulations for putting this together. Now, nobody can ignore the role of the Nigerian diaspora in economic development. Just a few days ago, we rounded up the 2-day summit, the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Summit, the third of its kind. And we believe this summit is important because of the role of the diaspora in economic development. So this summit this year got together almost 5,000 participants virtually and physically to be part of this summit. And we focused on key areas of ICT, fintech, healthcare, education, agribusiness, and so much more. And guess what? It was highly successful, with a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora trying to see what they can do, investing, and also looking for where to invest in. And this should be encouraged. And We know that you in the diaspora remitted over $25 billion to the Nigerian economy last year. Huge, almost more than half of the country's budget. But we're even saying that beyond remittances, we should be able to have the diaspora invest in specific areas in the country. Now we're setting up the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, which I hope you all will be part of when it gets going. And the idea is to put your money in any investment of your choice. You will decide where you want to put your money, and the diaspora will be in charge of the investment trust fund. So that will be coming up, and I hope that you will participate, because it is important to create an enabling environment for the diaspora to be able to invest in their home country. Now, post-COVID era, the future of Nigeria will need a lot of diaspora engagement. And there are a lot of practical things that we can do. First, I've told you of the Diaspora Investment Summit, the Nigerian Diaspora Investment Trust Fund, and basically, NITCOM is there to serve as the link between you and your country. And I'm glad to let you know that a lot of Nigerians in the diaspora are already investing back home, and the areas basically are healthcare, education, and the food business and agriculture. We'll document all that, but it's beginning to happen, and we want to encourage you to do more of that. Are there challenges? Oh yes, absolutely. Is it a perfect situation? Absolutely not. But is that not why it's the best time and best place for you to invest in? And NITCOM is there working with Nigerian Diaspora Investment and Nigerian Diaspora Summit Initiative to tackle whatever challenges you may have in wanting to invest in your country. Now, the issue of tax, which was addressed by the Vice President, Nigeria is making taxation easier for you, so that it will not be a stumbling block to investing in Nigeria. Nigeria is still the largest market on the African continent, and if you don't take advantage of that market, who will? Others are doing it. You should not be left behind, and that is why you have the Nigerian Diaspora Commission to work specifically with you. So as we move on, we intend to work with the organizers of the Nigerian investment summit, so that we can look at areas of collaboration. For instance, 31 states have focal persons on diaspora. In other words, for instance, you want to invest in mining in maybe Zamfara state. You can talk directly with the government of Zamfara through the focal person on diaspora. For instance, you want to invest in agriculture and you want to go to maybe Kebbi or something. You can talk directly with the focal person from Kebbi state. And I'll tell you something. As a result of our summit, 50 Nigerians, 50, came from Saudi Arabia to see what they could do in Nigeria. It had never happened before. In fact, they had never been to Nigeria before. They were born in Saudi Arabia by Nigerian parents, but they never came to Nigeria. Guess what? They came, and they are doing great things in terms of investing in the country and also exporting. So there's so much we can do. The power of the diaspora, we have not tapped into that power enough. No more excuses. Now is the time to tap into the power of the diaspora. It's a symbiotic relationship. Nigeria needs you, and you need Nigeria too. So let's work together to invest in our economy. Let's work together to build this beautiful country called Nigeria. Why should we have the best doctors in the world, and Nigerians are scrambling everywhere in the world for Medicare? Why should we have the best professors everywhere in the world and see the state of our education? Why should we have you, the very best in everything, every sphere, are Nigerians? And we cannot say you are part of the progress of your country. We have to do it, and we are going to do it. And you know what? I'm so proud to be a Nigerian. I'm so proud of the Nigerian diaspora, because everywhere we go to, Nigerians are being celebrated all the time. Just this week alone, a Nigerian was inducted into NASA, Dr. Okoje, just this week alone. A Nigerian won 2 Guinness World Records in sports. Just this week alone, 8 Nigerians at the same time got drafted into the NBA. And we have, Nigerians excelling everywhere. This has to tap into the progress and development of the country. And that is why I'm sure, Toyin, you're putting this together. Let's work together to build this country. Let's work together to have you invest in your own country, Nigeria. And I tell you, you will not regret it. Whatever bottlenecks, whatever challenges, now you have a Diaspora Commission set up solely for you. So as we go on with this summit, I wish you all the very best. We look forward to the outcome of the summit. We look forward to partnering with you. We look forward to working with you. And we look forward to your investments in Nigeria. And I tell you, you cannot regret it. If foreigners are doing it, if the Chinese, the Indians, the British, the Americans, different people are investing in your own country, you, the Nigerian diaspora, should not be left behind. I look forward to working with you. I look forward to receiving with you. And I look forward to your enormous investments that will be impactful both to you and to the Nigerian economy. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Thank you for listening, and I wish you a very successful summit. Congratulations, and God bless you all.
Thank you again, and I look forward to seeing you bright and early for me tomorrow morning. So I'm going to play music just to give people time to exit, and then I'll see you tomorrow. We'll close this out. God bless and bye.